today, thanks to Entertainment Weekly, we got our very first look at Captain Marvel. In addition to Captain Marvel herself, we also got looks at new and old characters that will be returning for the prequel film, as well as various information about the film that will affect the entirety of the MCU moving forward. For starters, we learn that the film will begin with Captain Marvel already having her powers, and will not start with her on the Air Force base powerless, although this will likely be covered in flashbacks. We know this because there are various photos of Captain Marvel on the Air Force base itself. This is what EW said about the beginning of the film and what Captain Marvel is doing when we first encounter her. The film sidesteps the traditional origin story template, and when it begins, Carol already has her powers. She's left her earthly life behind to join the elite military team Star Force on the Kree planet of Hala. Directors Ann Bowden and Ryan Fleck describe Star Force as the SEAL Team 6 of space. Its members include Carol, Korath, returning from Guardians of the Galaxy, and Min-Erva. Next up, we learn more about the new characters of the MCU, as mentor of sorts to Carol Danvers, Mar-Vell, who was the Kree warrior that originally gave her her powers in the comics, is in this EW coverage. This is what EW said about Mar-Vell. Jude Law plays the commander of Star Force, who views Carol as a mentee and pet project. These extraordinary powers she has, he sees them as something of a blessing, and something that she has to learn how to control, Law says. That's a motif throughout the piece, the element of learning to control one's emotions and to use your powers wisely. We also got a look at what the MCU Skrulls will look like, with them of course set to play a much larger role in the MCU later down the line, with an adaptation of Secret Wars most likely on the horizon. This was a huge event in the Marvel Universe where the Skrulls take on the personas of various Earth leaders and even heroes to help them take over the planet. There are even rumors that an MCU character, and a very popular one at that, is actually a Skrull all along, and this will play a larger role down the line in maybe an Avengers film. We then learned that Ben Mendelsohn, who was director Krennic from Rogue One, will be playing the Skrull leader in Captain Marvel. Next up was an image of Mar-Vell as well as a much younger Ronan, where this is what was said about Ronan. MCU fans have met the Kree race before in Guardians of the Galaxy, and two familiar faces in Korath and Ronan the Accuser. They will appear in Captain Marvel. In Guardians, Ronan is an outcast with extremist views, but here, he's still a high-ranking member of Kree society. The last few images are of Carol as an Air Force pilot as well as a de-aged Nick Fury, as again, this film will take place in the 90s. This Nick Fury, of course, still has his eye, and hopefully we will get to see the person that Nick trusted that caused him to lose this eye. As a big finale for the piece, we got some pictures of the final suit for Carol Danvers, and I think it looks phenomenal, as well as the final poster for the issue, as I think this is pure gold. I can't wait to see Captain Marvel on screen for the first time, as well as when she finally faces Thanos next year. We definitely learned a lot from this issue, as we discovered that this will not be an origin film of sorts, and it will actually take place with Carol Danvers still having her powers. This is also our first look at a major villain in the MCU, of course that being the Skrulls. There's a lot to break down here, and I would love to hear what you guys have to think about this in the comments down below. Overall, what are your thoughts on this EW issue, and what do you think the future for Carol Danvers as well as the Skrulls hold? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, subscribe to join the team, and have a great day.